Hey, welcome back to the Big Rant Show. As always, thanks for joining me. Hit that like, subscribe button, and don't forget to hit the little bell down below so you get notifications of everything from the Big Rant Show. That way you don't miss anything. Now, there's more information that's been released in the last 12 to 24 hours about the shooting in Texas. Apparently, the Air Force dropped the ball. Now, I'm not saying that this guy wouldn't have been able to find a weapon any other way, because if some people that are just bound and determined to do this stuff are going to try and find any way they can to do it. But after his conviction in a court martial on basically domestic assault of his wife and child, where he actually fractured the skull of his child, they were supposed to have put him in the system, the system that would have flagged him and prevented him from buying a weapon, at least a firearm. The Air Force had apparently failed to do so. Therefore, over the last few years, since his court martial and bad behavior discharge over the domestic violence and fracturing his child's skull, he was able to buy a few guns, at least 3 guns over the last 3 years. He bought the assault rifle sometime in 2016. In 2015, he bought one of his pistols, and another one apparently in 2017. But this just goes to show you that some of our rules that we have in place could work, but they have to be followed to the T. You cannot have any slip-ups. You can't have a screw-up like this and have these things and be able to help keep criminals from getting weapons. This guy was already a known felon, equivalent to a felon. And he was able to get a gun because the Air Force failed and dropped the ball to prevent him from doing so. And there's one thing that a lot of shooters have in common like this. They have violent tendencies. Many of them are domestic violence. They commit domestic violence all the time. A lot of them have domestic disturbances and reports on them, where they have beaten their children or beaten their wives or beaten somebody else. But this guy should not have had a weapon. One, he wasn't allowed, according to the governor of Texas, he was not licensed to carry the weapon he was carrying into that church, for one. So licensing, yes, it does help, but it doesn't keep you from doing it. But one thing we can do, and I'm not going to sit here and call for an all-out ban on all guns. I'm not going to sit here and say ban all assault rifles, because whether or not I agree with them with assault rifles being around, they're here. So I'm not going to just make that discussion right here or right now. What I will say is this: we have laws on the books to prevent felons from easily obtaining weapons. And when an official from the Air Force or a police department or something forget to submit the fact that this guy committed a felony, and it allows him to get a weapon that allows him to murder 26 people, that shows you that we have got to change. We have got to do better. Whether or not you want to ban guns, put the assault weapons ban back in place, whatever it is you want to do, the fact is the laws we have now should have prevented this. But somebody didn't do their job. So we've got to make sure that everyone is dotting their I's, crossing their T's, and getting everything straight. Because we cannot have this happening. Okay? We have enough people that legally buy guns, that are legally allowed to have them, that are pulling off these mass shootings. We don't need to help by allowing some jackass who's already been is already a felon, who's already been convicted of beating his wife, fracturing the skull of his child. We cannot allow people like that to have weapons. Now, people are going to sit here and say, oh, he was mentally ill. He was deranged. He was just an angry jackass. That was it. An angry jackass. He's not mentally ill. He wasn't mentally ill. He wasn't sick. The only thing sick may have been his personality, but I don't see him as being mentally ill. And I know all sorts of people are going to say, oh, he was mentally ill. No, he was a jackass. That's it, and that is all. There is nothing else that this man was but a jackass. He killed 26 people. 12 of those people were children, ranging from ages of 18 months to at least 14 years of age. A 14-year-old that was murdered in that shooting was the daughter of the pastor of the church. And apparently the grandmother-in-law of the shooter was killed in the shooting. Although the target of his anger was not there. His mother-in-law wasn't there. His estranged wife wasn't there. I don't understand. I really do not understand how you can be angry at an individual or a few individuals, but you feel like you have to take it out on 26 other people. You ruined the lives of hundreds of people. You killed an entire family. I am very glad that you are no longer breathing. I am glad that you took your own life. I am glad that Steve Williford shot you. Because I'm glad that taxpayers are not having to fit the bill for your medical care. I'm glad they're not having to fit the bill to feed you, to house you, or to put you to death later, which we would have done anyway. So thank you for saving the state of Texas millions of dollars. Thank you. But I am glad you were dead. I am glad that those people chased you down. But this is Texas. You weren't going to survive anyway. Even if they had arrested you and taken you to the hospital to nurse your gunshot wound that you got from Mr. Williford, you would have been on death row. That's how we work. You wouldn't have survived anyway. But thank you for saving us the money. But to anybody out there, if you're having problems with emotional problems or mental problems, whatever, seek help. The help is there. Now, I know there have been talks, there have been cuts to mental health stuff and things like that, but there are always places to go. There are always places you can, hotlines you can call, people you can talk to. There has got to be a better way to solve your anger and emotional problems than by murdering people. There has to be a better way. There is no reason that 12 children should lay dead right now. There is no reason for it. So if you're having a problem and you're thinking your solution is to kill people, go seek help. It is not reasonable to take other people's lives because you're having a bad day. Trust me, I have bad days every day. I live in a goddamn wheelchair. That's where I spend my freaking days. I can't do much for myself. What you see here is about all I can do. Run my mouth. And I fall on dark days all the time, as the song would say. But I can tell you right now that just because I'm upset doesn't mean I'm going to go murder somebody. But I am sick of these individuals who seem to think, oh, they're having a bad day or they're upset, so everybody has to die. Just like that stupid mom in East Texas that shot her 2 daughters last week. She was having some problems herself, so she decided to murder other people. I don't understand people. I really don't. If y'all understand or have any ideas on things maybe we could do to improve the situation in America with these shootings, and all these dead children and people and adults even. But To kill 12 innocent children that had absolutely nothing to do with you is insane. To kill 26 people in total that had nothing to do with you, or simply because you were upset, is crazy. But I do not believe he was insane. I do not believe he was crazy. I do not believe he was mentally ill. I believe he is just an asshole with a gun who was angry because somebody didn't want him anymore. And could you blame somebody for not wanting to be beat? You know, his first wife divorced him in 2012, and then he was remarried with 2 kids, from what I've read. But anyhow, thanks for joining me. If you have any ideas on how we can solve this problem in America, please leave some comments down below. And y'all have a great day.